Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Battle Series, the School of Hard Knocks. Throughout this episode, like every other, we'll be jumping on to the Pokemon Global Link Battle Spot ladder, playing under the Championship Battle rules, which are the equivalent rule set of the VGC 2017 season. So, how was your weekend, guys? Hope you had a brilliant time over the weekend, whatever you ended up doing. So just to kind of give you a quick recap with what happened over my weekend. As you know from last week, I was playing in the Indie Challenge, the Indie Open. So it didn't go as well as I kind of wanted it to. I started the tournament 2-0, lost my third round match to Pado. Very good player. It was a very tight game. He had some very good techs. Game one that kind of I adjusted my game plan that round, and he totally threw me off. He had stuff like Raw and things like that. And I was using a variation of my Tapu Lele Drifblim team without the Drifblim. So it was a Tapu Lele, Garchomp, Arcanine, Celesteela, Mimikyu and Snorlax were the two that I kind of put in there. So I went with the Mimikyu Snorlax mode in that team, and he had Raw and Arcanine, and totally everything went wrong. Pulled it back game 2. In game 3 he made a really good play, turn 1 of game 3, and he helping handed Shattered Psyche into my own Tapu Lele, which was enough to take it down. So I got really big advantage game 3 there going into the next turn. Next turn I bring in my Garchomp, it is Assault Vest, and he got a critical hit Moonblast. It didn't KO me, but put me in a really, really tough position, so there wasn't really much I could do that game, so he took that set. I went into my next game, I won that, so it was 3-1. It was 7 rounds. For the tournament you had to go 5-2 to make cut. So I was 3-1 going into round 5. I had a match definitely could have won. I got some bad rolls, so I can't really complain there. It was a bit annoying. I think it was a tight game. It was against Torkoal, Trick Room with Lilligant, Oricorio sort of team. And I got some really bad luck in the third game that it went to, but never mind. So I was X2 at this point going into round 6. So I had to win out at this point, and I played my good friend Thomas Plata. He took game 1, revealing that he had, I brought the Snorlax Mimikyu mode that game as well. He revealed that he had Haze on his Tapu Fini late game, so kind of put me off bringing that the rest of the game. Game 2 I managed to take, which was pretty good, so it went down to game 3, and whoever won went on with a chance to make top cut, and whoever lost, that was kind of the end of the tournament for them. So Thomas played very well and managed to take game 3, so I lost. At this point I was X3, thinking that there was one more round left, but I thought there's not really much point of playing, I can't make cut anymore. So I was due to go out anyway that afternoon, and we had a birthday party that we were going to, so I just left the tournament, went to get ready, came back to my PC, and my opponent was in the chat saying, "Oh, where are you?" And I thought I'd automatically be discounted from the tournament, but they changed the settings, so it was not X2's cutting, but all top 20. I think it was top 25. So I was a bit annoyed at myself that I'd left. If I'd played on, I might have had a chance to still go through to the next round. But big important lesson for you guys: never ever leave a tournament until it's done, because you never know what's going to happen. But a little bit disappointed with myself. Some of the plays I made, certain situations, I had a little bit of bad luck as well, which always happens, but you've kind of got to expect that. But never mind. The variation of the team I did like quite a lot, so when I do that team review episode of the Tapu Lele team, which will be coming out very shortly, I'll include a little bit about that right at the end, with the variation of the Snorlax Mimikyu, because I had it wasn't a straightforward Snorlax set, and it wasn't like the previous one that we've played, so I was running a belly drum set, but it was a little bit variation. Team Dream Ball. Sorry, not Team Dream Ball. I've got Marcus and Wolfie stuck in my head because I've just watched their NBL Season 2 stuff. And you'll have to excuse me, guys, as well. I've literally been suffering like really bad all day with my hay fever, and I had a little nap about an hour ago, so I've not been up very long. I feel really groggy and I'm still like, my eyes are really sore, so I do apologise for that. I probably look a bit alien-ish, but whatever. So anyway, NBL Season 2. I'm recording this episode actually on Sunday, so this evening, Sunday evening, so you'll get the NBL Season 2 match versus Team Cyberbars. That will be up on the channel tomorrow. I might be able to put up tonight, but I thought I'll schedule it for tomorrow for after this, so you guys can watch this and then expect that straight afterwards. So hopefully you guys enjoy that, so do keep an eye out for when that comes out. I'll probably schedule it for about half an hour after this, so if you're watching this when this comes straight out, you'll know, but otherwise it'll be on the channel already, so do check that out. And obviously, before you check that out, go and check out the team building video from Hibiki, and that'll be over on his channel, and I'll link that in the description below. Anyway, that is such a long intro, so guys, thank you so much for sticking with me here. But we have a little bit of a treat this week on the channel. I have been given by my very good friend, UK player Terrence Dray, a team to play with on the channel this week. Now, I asked Terrence if I could play this team possibly on the channel about 2 months ago. Terrence is a very, very good player. He's not as well known as some of your high flyers like your Ben Kiriakus and other players in the VGC scene, but Terrence is an extremely good player. Had a very good finish in the UK Nationals 2014, and he had a really, really cool team that year. He top cut UK Nats that year, finished 10th, I think, running a Victory Bell team, which was amazing. And he did a report on that on Nugget Bridge forums when they were around, but I managed to find a link to it, so I will link that in the description below if you guys want to go and check that out. I definitely would recommend it. So on to this. Yeah, Terrence is pushing for his Worlds invite. He's got a couple of tournaments left. I think he's got the Madrid special event that he's maybe going to, and then you've got the Indianapolis Internationals in the US, which he's attending, so all the best to him going over there. But he approached me last week and said, dude, do you want to play this team? Do you want to play the team on the channel? And I was like, yes, give me it. So he kindly has provided me with it this week, so I'm going to try and set up like a Discord chat with him for either, it will definitely be for Friday's episode, so I'm going to try and set it up for Wednesday, Thursday this week for Friday's episode. So we'll get him on, and we'll have a bit of a chat with him. You guys can get to know a bit about him, and we can kind of play the team together, and he can discuss that with you, because it's a really cool team. As you can probably see on the little characters on the bottom of the artwork on the channel here, we've got Tapikoko, Trevenant, Gyarados, Alolan Marowak, Alolan Muck, and Politoed. So some really cool, unique picks. I actually played Terrence in the Malmo Regional. He finished 5th in that regional earlier this year, so he did really well in that tournament, and he's looking good for a Worlds invite, so I really do hope he gets it. But we'll jump on to the battle spot, guys. Don't waste any more time. Gone on for so long already. And we'll try and find some opponents and showcase this team a little bit. Right, where are we going to go music wise? Let's go league title defense. So we'll have our battle spot double series tomorrow. I do have a list of a good list now from you guys, so thank you very much for those suggestions that you guys have. Definitely keep them coming, and looking forward to that tomorrow. I'll have a QR code series as well on Wednesday, so make sure you get your suggestions in for that for this week. So we have a first opponent of the day. They're running a team of Smeagol, Porygon Z, Tapulele, Arcanine, Garchomp, and Alolan Ninetales. So what are we going to do here? Is that conversion Porygon Z? Probably is. You know, the weird thing is I haven't played one single game with this team at all. So we're running a bit of a speedy Gyarados here. Muck's not bad. The thing is, I might go, okay, let's think about this. Trick Room going to be quite good here. Trick Room is probably going to be really good here. So, let us go with... Yeah, I'll go with Gyarados, Trevenant. Politoed, and... What's my final one going to be? I'm so sleepy. It's ridiculous. I can't even think straight. Okay, let's think. Do we need Tapu Koko? Tapu Koko is probably good in case that Smeagol starts sporing and stuff like that. Let's just go with that. I don't know if this is going to be good, but I reckon it'll be alright. I'm sure it'll be alright. We'll get through it. I should probably give myself like another hour to kind of wake up a little bit. I'm still like... But no, I had a pretty busy, as I say, I was at a party yesterday. It was my girlfriend's brother's birthday, so we went over to theirs. They had a barbecue, and then we went out afterwards. So it was a pretty late night, and I was up early this morning. So I'm still pretty tired, and that is the only reason. But on to more important things, guys. You do want to hear about that. We have my opponent leading off with that Smeagol and the Porygon Z. So I wonder if it is it's blatantly a conversion Porygon Z, isn't it? So what's the Gyarados got? What have you got on this Gyarados? We don't want to Dragon Dance. We don't want to just sit there and we'll probably get faked out as well, is another thing. I could bring in Tapu Koko and just go for a Trick Room. Might not be a bad idea, to be honest. I think I'll do that. Let's do that. Oh, it's going to be because of the Ninetales in there. It's going to be the Ice type, isn't it? Okay. Well, this isn't the worst play because at least we'll stop any Spore this turn. We just see a fake out from the Smeagol into that Gyarados slot. And here comes the conversion, I reckon. And it's going to be into the Ice type. Yeah, there we go. So we should get the Trick Room after, so it'll be not too bad. That turns into an Electric type. Okay, really wish I brought Marowak here. And we've just activated the terrain. Oh, we're fools. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just go for a... I could go for a Sky Drop, but I think I might do that next turn. I think I'll go for... I'll go for a Dazzling Gleam here, and I'm going to go for a Leech Seed into that Porygon Z. Okay, so we don't get the Leech Seed off. Follow me. Excellent. Okay. So you see follow me from the Smeagol, it will pull that Leech Seed into that slot. We will get the Dazzling Gleam off. Not doing very much damage at all. And we see a Thunderbolt into Tapu Koko, but because we are Assault Vest, we are able to take that a lot easier. So I think here, what I'm going to do is go for the Sky Drop this turn. If that Smeagol does go for the Follow Me, then we will be able to ignore it. And I'm just going to Horn Leech into that slot. And there's the Wide Guard. So we don't mind that at all. Get the Horn Leech off. We should KO the Smeagol here. Yeah. And we can go for that Sky Drop and just take this Porygon 2 out of the picture for a turn, which is nice. So let's see what my opponent's going to bring in. And it is the Arcanine. Okay. Does get an Intimidate off onto both my Pokemon. Now, we do have the Politoed in the back that we could bring in, set the rain up. But the issue is it's going to take a Thunderbolt, and it probably will go down, I would imagine. I'm going to have to switch it in though, so I'll switch in the Politoed. I don't want to lose the Trevenant, because I think that's going to be my win con at the end of this game, getting a Trick Room up and probably getting the Gyarados in under that rain with the Waterium Z, the Hydro Vortex into that PZ slot. So let's keep Trevenant alive for later on. Bring in Politoed, and we'll activate that Drizzle ability and get the rain onto the field. And my opponent making a really nice read there, going straight for a wild charge and taking down Politoed. Which is not good at all. There's Porygon Z, we drop down, and it goes for Thunderbolt again into the Tapu Koko slot. Picking up the KO. Oh, this is not going well at all. I've got a feeling that we're not going to be able to underspeed the Arcanine in the Trick Room with a Gyarados. I think we've got one more turn Trick Room left as well. So I'm just going to protect Gyarados, and I'm going to go for... this is really tough because... yeah, I don't think there's much for us where we can get out of this situation. We kind of need to get rid of the Porygon Z now, but I don't think after the boost that we'll be able to get rid of it. So my opponent going to switch out the Arcanine into its Tapu Lele. Does change the terrain now, which does help us. Gyarados does protect, and we get a Horn Leech off the Porygon Z. Oh wow, get really lucky with a critical hit. Wow, we could have went for a Dragon Dance there. And the Ice Beam coming out, doing so much damage. And the dimensions turn back to normal. We do activate our Harvest ability though and get another Citrus Berry, which is nice. But we are in range for another Ice Beam to take us down. Yeah, there's not really much we can do, to be honest, because that Porygon Z can just go for a Thunderbolt into the Gyarados slot, and we just made the bad. We brought the wrong Pokemon all day long to this match. If we'd had Marowak, it would have made things so much easier. So we just see the T-Bolt into the Gyarados. It is going to pick up the kill, and this Tapu Lele will be able to just finish off this Trevenant. Yeah, but not to worry. Like, the thing is, we're going to be learning how we're operating with this team anyway for a few games before we kind of get into it. So yeah, just if we brought the Marowak there, it would have made things so much easier. I think even the Muck there would have been a really sensible choice with what my opponent kind of had on their team. But never mind, we'll go into next game and see if we can kind of just make amends for that performance. That was terrible. That was terrible. Not a good start. Terrence is probably watching this and thinking, what have I done? Why have I given my team to this guy? But we'll try and make up for it now. So we have our next opponent, we have our next opportunity, and they are running a team of Pelipper, Buzzwole, Marowak, Alolan Marowak, Golduck, Nihilego, and Tapu Koko. So my opponent are having a rain mode as well of their own. Problem here with bringing the Trevenant is we need to be careful for that Pelipper, because it probably does have Hurricane, which does threaten the Trevenant for super effective damage. I I do like Tapu Koko here. We are Assault Vest, so I do feel like Tapu Koko could be very good here. We just need to be careful if my opponent leads a double rain that we're not getting caught with a Hydro Vortex, because I'm not sure if this Tapu Koko will be able to take that. So I'm going to lead off Tapu Koko. Gyarados I will bring here. Gonna need something for that Nihilego. So and the Buzzwole, but Marowak's actually not bad here. And yeah, because Trevenant, if we can get a Trick Root, Muck. Let's think. Let's lock in Muck as our last slot. So let's hope this isn't as a disaster as that first game was. I'm sure it'll be better, hopefully. Although I was left like 3 seconds to go and I'm still not decided on the 4th Pokemon. I think maybe between this episode and the next one I'll have a few games just to kind of get myself adjusted with it. So my opponent's going to lead off with the Marowak and the Tapu Koko. We will get the Intimidate off onto the Marowak, more importantly. Not going to matter too much for that Tapu Koko there. I would think this Tapu Koko on my opponent's side probably has Discharge. So we're not really going to want to stick around for that. I think I'm going to bring in see, what I could do is Skydrop. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to switch out. Skydrop the Marowak, and I'm going to switch in my Marowak for my Gyarados, expecting that Discharge. So you see the Marowak withdraw, and Nihilego come in. Okay. We see Thunderbolt just come out. So we know that my opponent has no Discharge now, really, because that would have been the play there to go for it. I'm just going to pick this Nihilego up. And what could my opponent have in the back? Because he's kind of forced to either protect or switch out that Tapu Koko. I think here I'm going to switch in my Muck for my Marowak, because I don't want to take a Power Gem from that Nihilego once we drop it with the Skydrop. There's every chance it probably just goes for a Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Koko on my side of the field, but at the same time it makes sense to go for that Power Gem on the Marowak and get rid of that, so it's not as disruptive as it was in previous, like for the forthcoming turns. So we'll withdraw our Marowak as we see my opponent bring their Marowak in on the field, and we'll bring in Muck. We'll drop down the Nihilego, which does break a Sash potentially on it if it is holding that, so that's not the worst thing. And we just see a Sludge Bomb into the Tapu Koko. Ugh, is that a critical hit? It's not even a critical hit. How did that KO? That's ridiculous. We're Assault Vest. Okay, so not the best turn. So I'll bring in Gyarados here. We'll get an Intimidate off onto the Marowak. The thing is though, that Nihilego could potentially be locked. It could be Choice Specs from that damage. Because we didn't see any Life Orb recoil there. I think here what I can do is just go for could go for a Dragon Dance and just a knockoff. Should I go for the Dragon Dance? I'm gonna go for the Dragon Dance. We've got to hope that we don't get poisoned though, and we can survive the poison. That's the only thing. Or we could just not mess around at all and go for a Hydro Vortex. That's probably the best thing to do, and just go for a knockoff into that Marowak slot. So Marowak just protects here. Sludge Bomb, it is locked into Sludge Bomb. We're gonna survive? No. Oh my god. This has gone terribly. This goes from bad to worse. But that Nihilego is logged into Sludge Bomb, and it's not gonna be very effective against either Pokemon that I've got out on the field now. So you can quite comfortably go for that knockoff. I'll just go for a Shadow Bone into the Nihilego and a knockoff into the Marowak. But this is not looking good. Again, terrible. So we'll probably see the Marowak on my opponent's end switch out, but I don't mind that too much, because if we can just like knock something off, like the Tapu Koko comes in, we knock whatever item it's holding off, because we should pick up the KO onto this Marowak, I'd imagine, with our muck. And we actually force out the Nihilego, which is quite nice, and see that Buzzwole come in. Okay. And the Marowak withdraws as well, so we're going to get 2 free attacks here, which isn't too bad. Get the knockoff into that Tapu Koko, reveal the Life Orb on that, and we'll get a Shadow Bone into this, get a bit of damage onto this Buzzwole. Mr. Flex. Right. I think we're quite free just to go for a Flare Blitz and a Gunk Shot into both targets here. Buzzwole just protects. What we're going to see this Tapu Koko do. Goes for a Dazzling Gleam, just to get some damage, I imagine. Ugh. Okay. I'm a bit scared of the all-out pummeling coming onto my muck from that Buzzwole, so I'm just going to protect it here, just in case we do see that. We don't need to worry too much about the Tapu Koko, because it's only going to be able to fire off Dazzling Gleams at this point. It can't go for those electric type attacks because of the Lightning Rod or the Marowak. It's definitely not over, but we've just got to be really careful with how we play. And we're going to see the Marowak switching on my opponent's end here. So my opponent, if he does have that all-out pummeling, just keeping it for later on in the match. We'll get a Flare Blitz into the opposing Marowak, and it's not going to do very much damage. Say that, it does a huge amount of damage. Right, I'm just going to Shadow Bone into the Marowak, into the Tapu Koko, and I'm going to knock off. Actually, we've got to be a bit scared of that. No, I think we're going to, yeah. The muck that I'm running should be a lot faster than the Marowak, so we can go for that knockoff into that slot. And we'll just go for a Shadow Bone into the Tapu Koko slot. Marowak protects, so we're just going to see another Dazzling Gleam come out. Just super annoying, it's just chipping us down, we're not dealing with the Tapu Koko. We do get the knockoff. Shadow Bone will pick up the KO here. Finally. But I think we've probably taken too much damage from the Dazzling Gleam to really... My opponent keeping that Buzzwole till the very end. So I'm just going to go for a Flare Blitz into the Buzz Wall and protect my Muck this turn. We've got to hope that that Marowak doesn't outspeed ours. It does. So that's game again. Terrible. I don't know whether we're just having bad matchups or not, but there's that all-out pummeling, or if I'm just playing bad, or if it's just a combination of both. It's probably a combination of both. So, good game to my opponent. He is going to be able to take this game now. He'll probably just proc the berry, but we don't have a lot in the tank left. We're not going to be able to take a combination of superpower and something from that Nihilego, even after our berry procs. I wouldn't have thought. But we can see what we can do. Let's see. Let's go for a gunk shot into the Buzz Wall, just to see if we can get rid of it. So you don't want to give up too quick, do we? But it's not looking good. And my opponent, yeah. So revealing actually that his Marowak is faster than my Muck. And insanely powerful. Forget how powerful Marowak is with that Flare Blitz. So good game to my opponent there. I think we're just making the wrong plays. We're just going into protects too often, and just making the obvious plays really. And my opponents find it easy to kind of play around, which is a bit annoying. But we'll have one more game. We've got to get a win with this team. So let's jump back on. It's going to be a bit of a longer one today, guys, so I hope you don't mind. Let's go with Galadian theme tune and see what we can do in this last match of this episode. Super disappointed, but we can't help it, you know. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of adjusting to a team. You just got to stick with it until you kind of get the feel for it and understand how it operates and stuff like that. So that's one thing to always keep in mind. But we have our next opponent, our next chance to redeem ourselves finally for the day. They're running a team of Tapu Koko, Mudsdale, Lucario, Celesteela, Whimsicott and Arcanine. So I would say that straight away that Lucario is probably a follow me variant to support things like the Celesteela and possibly the Whimsicott from setting up. The Mudsdale, what's it going to threaten? It's going to threaten our Muck and a Marowak. Arcanine again is going to be a bit of a pain, and the Tapu Koko threatens a lot of stuff. The Celesteela is a bit of a pain, so we definitely want to bring and protect our Marowak here. So we need to keep Marowak to late game potentially with our Tapu Koko to deal with that Celesteela, because it's probably the biggest threat on my opponent's team. I think our Trick Room mode's nice here. What am I going to do? I'm going to lead off with Gyarados and Marowak, and I'm going to bring Politoed and Tapu Koko. Yeah, I definitely want the rain mode here. I feel like the rain mode is going to be very good, especially with the Marowak kind of support and everything. We just need to make sure that we're protecting it well. It's probably not a bad idea here to go for maybe a Dragon Dance with the Gyarados if we can try and get that opportunity to get a Dragon Dance off. It's going to put us in a lot better position. You've got to keep in mind that the Whimsicott could go for something like Tailwind. It also carries Taunt and Encore, so we don't really want to just freely Dragon Dance in front of that. So we're going to see the Whimsicott and the Lucario come up for my opponent. We do threaten both Pokemon with our Marowak. But what do I want to do? Do I want to adjust my board position? Could bring in... Could just go for an attack. The thing is as well, no, I think we're alright just going for an attack. I think I'm going to double up into the Whimsicott with a Flare Blitz and a Flamethrower from the Gyarados. Oh dear. Oh dear, what are all these gimmicks today? This is not cool. So we're seeing a justified Lucario. Whimsicott going for that beat up strategy onto it. And what's it going to fire off? So its attack will be +3. Oh, this is the worst. We do outspeed it. We do get the flamethrower off. And an earthquake. So that is going to pick up the KO on a Marowak. The one thing that we said we needed to protect this game, and we've lost already. So not ideal. And this Whimsicott this next turn is pretty free to go just straight for a Tailwind. So I think I'm going to bring in Politoed. We know that we outspeed the Lucario with our Gyarados, so it kind of has to protect this next turn. So what do I do? Do I go for the Hydro Vortex into it? Or do I Dragon Dance? I think I Dragon Dance, you know. I've got a Dragon Dance, right? He's got to protect it in Tailwind. That would be the play. Yeah, because otherwise it goes down. Yeah, so I'm going to Dragon Dance. And I'm going to Encore the Whimsicott. Because I reckon that it will go for that Tailwind. Oh, okay. Things going from bad to worse. We don't see the Tailwind. We see a Sunny Day, so we'll lock it into that if we actually get through this turn. I'm going to see an all-out pummeling, which would be into that Politoed. This is disastrous. Disastrous. It's into the Gyarados though. We may survive this. No, we don't. No way. That is ridiculous. Okay. Get the Encore, which is pretty pointless now. I mean, like, I think the game's kind of done, really, again. Bring in Tapu Koko. But the Lucario here is pretty free just to go for an Earthquake, and it's going to be able to pick up the KO on pretty much everything. The only thing I can kind of do is go for a Sky Drop. But the next turn we're just going to drop down into an Earthquake. So we could go for a Sky Drop and then a Scald into that Lucario and hope we get a burn. And that's kind of, and hopefully with the burn damage, then we can survive an Earthquake and get a Dazzling Gleam off the following turn. But I don't know how likely it is. And this is all depending on whether my opponent goes for an Earthquake here. You might just go for a straight up attack into the Politoed, like a close combat. We are going to see Arcanine take the field for that Whimsicott. And a Bullet Punch come up from the Lucario. Takes us down to about 50% health. Do pick up the Arcanine and go for a Scald, but yeah, the game's too far and we don't get the burn, so it is done. It is done. There's nothing I can really do now. Just go for a Scald. We're going to lose both Pokemon here, I'd imagine. This has been probably the worst, I think the worst played games I've had on the episode, so it makes me feel like I don't want to put it out, but I will put it out because there's not much point. There's not, like, I don't ever feel like there's ever any point of putting out games when they don't go well. It's kind of a good example, you know, sometimes you'll get a new team to test and it just doesn't go well, and you're not playing well, you're not in the right frame of mind or whatever it is, but I don't feel like it's any example to you guys as players to only put out games that I do really well in, because it's not going to benefit you guys at all in the end game. Good game to my opponent there. Really nice strategy, and nice to showcase on the channel as well. But yeah, back to my point. I think when I feature games, obviously I want to do well. I want to be playing well. I want to be providing good content for you guys. But sometimes just, life happens, and it's not always going to go your way. And I think that's the one thing that you guys kind of need to keep in mind. Just when you're playing Pokemon, it's sometimes it's an important lesson to have, or important like frame of mind to have in the back of your head at all times. That like sometimes you're not going to be playing optimally, you're not going to be switched on, the team isn't right, or you're just not adjusting to the team enough. So I think that's something to always keep in mind. And it's like, I could easily now, if this was practice, think I've played 3 games with this team, it's terrible. And that's like an instant reaction just to those 3 losses, without actually going into the games that we've played and analysing them and seeing, where did I go wrong? What have I been doing wrong? Why did I pick this? Why didn't I pick that? Like that game 1, if we brought the Marowak there, it would have made things so much easier for us. And that was just down to a simple mistake in team preview. And you could blame that on me being tired, or whatever, or adjusting to the team, or not really used to the team, or how it should line up against things like that. So there's a combination of stuff. It's just kind of sticking with it until you get to the point where you think, right, I've tried everything I can with this team, and it's not down to this, it's not down to that, and it's still not working. And then you can be like, okay, we'll put that to one side and we can come back to that later on. Or when you can't see anywhere where you've went wrong with the team, maybe possibly with your play, and you think, well, I don't know how else I kind of operate, it is just down to the team and it's not operating well, which it's not with this team, because I know this team plays well when it's played well. So it is a case of I'm playing terrible today. But all I'm going to do is go away, look at these losses that we've had, and then we'll come back stronger on Wednesday and approach this again and try again with it, guys. So do stick with us. It'd be great to kind of hear your thoughts on what my opinions are on this. I think it is quite an important thing as well, because a lot of players I know through the time that I've played VGC, for a long time, they'll not progress because they're picking up a team, trying it, it's not working, and just doing this cycle where they're not really doing it. And I think there's a lot of legwork and a lot of improvement can be made from just sticking and playing and really analysing your games and looking where you've went wrong, really, rather than just straight away blame it on something else and ignore the actual problems that it is. That makes sense. But I'm going to stop jabbering on anyway. I hope it makes sense what I'm saying, and just want to say thanks for sticking with us, guys, for this episode. I've been super sleepy, eyes are killing, but it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to Wednesday's episode, because I think we're going to just we'll start playing the team a bit better, and as well, it's going to be nice to have Terrence on Friday, especially if you've seen this episode and thinking, what is this guy doing with my team? What is he doing? But never mind. We'll come back on Wednesday. Guys, if you've enjoyed the episode, please leave a like. It's massively appreciated, as always. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe. As I said, the Team Cyberbaz match, Team Leaky versus Cyberbaz, will be up on the channel later on, if it's not already by the time you're watching this. So do check that out. Check out the team building video, and we'll be back tomorrow with an episode of our Battlespot Double Series. So looking forward to that. Again, keep the suggestions coming in for that and our QR code series. And until tomorrow, guys, I will see you later. So whatever you're doing, take care of yourselves, and just have a fun evening, afternoon, or morning, whenever this is, and I will see you tomorrow. So until then, guys, bye bye.